Hello everyone and welcome to today's live chat webinar. My name is Daniel, I'm from the marketing department and today's with me Marcin. This is Marcin.
Hi guys.
Hi guys. And for the next 30 minutes we're gonna talk about the daily use of live chat. So it will be something like a one-on-one class for mainly for agents, but hey admins, we're really happy to have you here with us as well. So long story short, we'll tell you guys how to make most of live chat in your everyday work. But before we begin, it's been a while since the last webinar took place, so here are a few housekeeping items which we want to bring to your attention. On the right side of the screen there's this chat box thingy. Feel free to use it to let us know if there's any technical issue going on or if you just want to ask us your questions. We'll be monitoring the chat and also answering your questions on the fly. Also, somewhere in the background there will be this survey up and running, which you can use to let us know which topic would you like us to cover the next time. Okay, and last thing to remember, today's recording will be uploaded on our website in 24 hours top. Okay, so without further ado, let's introduce today's agenda. First of all, we choose the right application for you, and and there are more than just one application there. Then we'll teach you guys how to manage application statuses. You'll see how to properly handle tickets and transfer chats. We'll discover the mystery behind the More button, and we'll introduce some improvements to the current responses. There also will be a Q&A session after today's webinar ends. So Marcin, time to shine.
Okay, welcome again guys. Let's get down to business. Now the first thing I wanted to mention is choosing the right application for you. Now as Daniel mentioned a moment ago, there are more applications than just a single one. So here's a small list. We can basically separate them into two kinds of applications, and those are smart clients and mobile apps. Now there are pros and cons to each of them, so I will basically go one by one so you have better understanding of which application is suitable for you. Okay, so on to the web browser. Now the best thing about the web browser is that it does not require installation of any kind. So you do not have to go for the installation on your PC. For instance, some companies, maybe your company too, has some restrictions about installing software on your PCs. So if you are not allowed to do this, you can simply use web browser and skip the installation that will be required in other cases. Now another thing about web browser is that it inherits browser settings, whatever they are. So if you got some plugins installed or perhaps have a spell checker for your language, those will be included in the web browser as well. Now this spell checker thing I mentioned is especially important because if your support team is working on a different language than English, so German, Polish or Chinese, you can use the browser settings that you have to include the spell checker for your specific language, and that's just work more conveniently. Now about the smart clients, we have two of them, one for macOS and one for Windows. Now smart clients are basically web browser tucked into a nice frame dedicated to the system you're using. So they look really similar. There are some differences to them, however. And the first thing is that those applications, you can set them to start on the system load. So if you're a kind of a guy that basically forgets to launch the programs or just don't like it, the settings can be remembered. So just after you start your PC or Mac, the application will start as well. The other thing that's really pro in this case is auto away feature. Now I will say a couple of more words about it later, but auto away basically makes sure that you do not leave your PC unattended and on accepting chats. Another thing is that the spell checker for this application isn't built. and that's by default for English. So if you're working in English and you do not want to mess with your browser settings, this application already has them inbuilt, both Windows and both Mac apps. And the last thing I think that's really important as well is that smart clients, they store application logs. So if you're experiencing some problems that are difficult to troubleshoot for the support team of ours, or perhaps there are some maybe connectivity problems, some crashes and such, the smart clients store log files which can be later sent to the LiveChat support team, and they greatly help us in troubleshooting later on. So those basically are the differences between the smart client and web application. Yes. About the mobile apps, we have dedicated application for Androids, iPhones and iPads. And now the main pro in here is that you can always have them with you whenever you go. So if your job requires that you travel a lot, perhaps by train or plane, or basically walk somewhere, or if you need to move between the floors in your office, for instance, and always need to stay on chat with your clients, those applications, they can really help you out. Now, they do not include the full features that smart client and desktop applications do. However, they are equipped with canned responses and ability to create tickets. So first of all, you can use all the canned responses that you normally use in case of desktop applications, and that's basically really convenient, taking into consideration the fact that writing on mobile devices can sometimes be troublesome. And the second thing is that you have the ability to create tickets straight away from the chat. So if some case proves to be too complicated to deal with it during the chat, you can simply create a ticket and get back to it when you're on PC. Now, the mobile apps, as you can see in here, they have a slightly different design than the desktop applications, but you shouldn't have any problems with adapting to it. On the left-hand side, you can see that this is the Android app, this is the app for the iPhone, and you should not have any problems with adapting to it. Now, one more thing that's really convenient is the fact that one agent can be logged into more than a single application. So you can at the same time be logged into desktop application and the mobile app, for instance, and you do not need to switch between them. So it's not either this or that. So you can stay logged on the desktop, but if you need to go somewhere, just log on to mobile app and go away from your PC. Now, one more thing I wanted to mention that's really important, that if you got mobile app operating, the LiveChat will not automatically switch to not accepting chats if you got auto-away feature set on, but I will also mention it sometime later. Now, about the managing application statuses. This is a quite simple thing. We have two statuses in our application, accept chats or don't accept chats. Now, there are some tricks to them, and from experience we know that some ideas might not be known to you, but they can really improve the workflow. So the first thing I wanted to mention would be the status after logging in. Now, on the right hand side on top of the application, you can see your agent avatar. Now, if you move here and go to My Profile tab and click on Edit, you can basically see the settings for your agent profile. Now, you can actually set the status after logging in to accept chats or to don't accept chats, and this comes in handy a lot if you want to adapt LiveChat to your workflow. So if your company and your duties are that you need to be logged straight away and accepting chats, it's a good idea to switch to accept chats. And if you log into application but you should not accept straight away, but maybe sometime later on, and you need some duties to tend on before you start accepting, it's best to set it to don't accept chats. Now, when you do this, make sure to save changes, which is really important. And sometimes people forget to do this. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention would be auto-away settings. Now, let me just move next slide. Auto-away settings, as I mentioned, they are only available in case of the smart clients, so application for Windows or Mac OS. If you want to access these settings, in case of Windows, you need to find the icon of LiveChat in the Windows tray on the right hand side on the bottom, find preferences. In case of macOS, you need to focus on LiveChat application and click on preferences. And now once you do this, you will see a small screen with some additional settings that are not available in case of the smart client. Now the first thing I mentioned is that you can start LiveChat at login. So this is the setting where you would set it up. Sorry, and the auto way I mentioned now. Now this LiveChat application, it will track your activity on the PC to a really small extent. So it will basically check whether you're moving your cursor or doing anything at all on your PC. Now, in my case, that's 5 minutes of inactivity. You can switch it to whatever number suits you. And if I have it set for 5 minutes of inactivity, it means that if I move away from my PC for 5 minutes and do nothing, the application will automatically switch my status to not accepting chats. Now, one thing that's really important to keep in mind, and I mentioned it before, if you're also using mobile application, this auto away settings will not trigger because it is difficult to track the mobile applications and their movements and such. So if you are also on mobile application, then it's assumed that you are accepting chats at all time. So this would be the auto away I mentioned. Now, once you start your shifts, it's really important to remember that the status can be changed manually as well while doing your job. Now, there are some cases in which you could consider manually changing the status while working. And one of such examples would be if you're operating in a, let's say, call center where you operate both live chat and phone calls. So if you get a phone call and it requires your full attention, because basically phone calls are rather absorbing, you can switch to don't accept chats, so no more chats come, and you can give better customer experience to your clients. One more thing that is important to keep in mind: if you switch to not accepting chats, as I did right now, you can see that my chats did not drop. They were not closed at all. So you do not have to worry that if you switch the status, that the chats will be gone. And the second thing is when you're finishing the shift. Now, of course, this is really dependent on the workflow in your company. But if you finish your shift, it might be a good idea to couple of minutes before you finish the shift and go home, switch to not accepting chats and finish the chats that you're basically taking care of right now. Because if you log out or close the chat application without taking into consideration the chats that you have, they will simply close or drop and transfer to other agents. So it's a good practice to switch to not accepting chats, just finish the cases that you have, or make sure that they get a nice transfer before you close the application. And the last thing, now this feature is Work Scheduler. Let me go back to my profile settings. This feature is available only in enterprise pricing plans. So if you're not seeing this one on your agent profile, it means that your license is not in this plan. But working hours, they allow you to set the default settings which work the following way. If your application is running and specific time, let's say 9 AM in my case, goes off on your local machine, then the application automatically changes the status to accepting chats and forth to not accepting after your shift changes. Now you can modify these settings to better suit your workflow. If you're not working regular days, you can use advanced settings to set it for specific days in a different ways as well. Now this really comes in handy in case of corporates and bigger companies where those working hours are hard set, and maybe it may be inconvenient for all the agents to set them up manually. Okay, so these were the words I wanted to mention about the application statuses. Now onto the tickets. As you can see here, it's the ticket section that you basically know, probably most of you, and there are a couple of hints I wanted to share as well to improve the workflow of yours. Now I can see unassigned tickets in here. Let's say I wanted to tend to this ticket by Han Solo. Now, as I can see, this ticket is so far unassigned. So to my information, no agent is working on it. Some agents forget that the fact that if they start writing something in the ticket, like responding to it, and other agents are just not able to see that. So it is a good practice to first assign the ticket to yourself, just like this, so all the other agents know that you are working on this specific one, and they will just see the information that Ian Styles is working on the ticket, and they can tend to other tickets and just avoid doing double the job, which would be unnecessary. Another thing that's really helping in case of ticket section is internal comment feature. This shady guy in glasses and hat in here, there's the button for switching to internal comment. Now if you click on it, you switch to a comment that will not be visible to your clients but only to your team. So if you need to pass on some details for the case that somebody else will be working on as well, or if you just need to leave some additional information that you just need to keep in mind, don't want to lose it anywhere, simply write this information in here in internal comment mode, and save the changes. For instance, just so I will know that other agents will be able to see it. Now this will be highlighted in blue, so you can easily separate and see which is which. Yes. Now another thing that's helping in the flow of the tickets and working on them, this is the recent tickets section on the right hand side. If you got case and you just want to make sure that you get all the details you need for your clients, or maybe client is referring to some other ticket that you had before, or you can see from the context that they are probably replying to another ticket, but instead of replying in that email they sent another. You can see all the recent tickets that have been created for this account and browse to them. So I can see that Hans Soler has already contacted us a couple of times, and I can just move between them. Also, if you're not seeing anything in recent tickets, but you suspect that maybe there may be some more details on your license and you want to make sure that you get all of them, you can, for instance, copy the email address from here and use the search icon, magnifying glass icon, sorry, on the top right. Now if you open it, you can put the email in here, and it will also show all the tickets and chats that you or your colleagues had with this particular client, so you can just make sure that you're seeing all the potential information. Another thing with the search function is that you may find yourself not knowing what to do with some particular cases, but you know that your colleagues have been working on similar ones. Now in this case that's contact requests, so I can just see if there are some other contact requests that my colleagues were attending to recently and see how they dealt with them. So if I write contact in here, it will also show all the tickets that were recently done, so I can just browse to them and see how my colleagues went about it. And well, that's basically all that we have for the tickets section for today. Now onto the transferring function. Some of you may be familiar with it, some of you may not. That's why I think that's really important to mention it. If you're tending to a chat and you for some reason know that somebody else should be taking care of it, maybe they were not available when the agents, when the visitors started chatting, or maybe they are just different department that's responsible for the case that your clients wants to solve. You can simply click on More and Transfer Chat option. Now if you click on here, you will see the option to transfer it to any particular agent that's inside your group. So if you know that either Mark or Ray should take care of this one because they were working with this particular agent before, particular visitor before, you can transfer it from here. Or if you know that another group should take care of it, for instance your support, and this is something that sales should do, you can transfer to the whole group, and the application will take care of assigning it to the particular agent. So I can just transfer it to sales, and another agent has received the chat. Now, one thing to keep in mind in here, actually two, is the first thing is that it's good to let your colleagues know that you are going to transfer to them. Because if you do not do this, they might find themselves unprepared and basically surprised. And it might take them a moment to actually realize what's going on, what's happening, and they just need to browse through the case. So if you got some communication program with your other colleagues, or maybe you're just sitting in the same office, it's best to know, hey, Ray, I am just transferring the chat to you because that's your case. And the other way around, if you're going to transfer the agent and your colleague already knows that he or she are going to receive the ticket, it's best to let the client know that, hey, I'm going to transfer you, because if you do not let them know about this, they might be really surprised and basically shocked and just not know what's going on really. So that's the thing about the transferring. Now, the mystery behind the More button, because some of you may not be exploring it before. Now, we have a couple of functions in here. Transfer chats I just mentioned, so I will not double say what I just said a moment ago. Now, stop chat basically works the same way as clicking X on the chat, so it immediately stops chat for you and the customer on the other hand side. Now, create ticket function. This is an option that helps a lot and saves you some work, because normally if you were to create tickets separately, you would have to go to the ticket section and create tickets, put all the details from here, so subject, requester's name, email, and such. Now, if you create a ticket straight from the chat, just like under this More button, this ticket will inherit some of the information that's already included in the ticket, which helps a lot. So it will carry on the name, it will carry on the email that's actually provided in here. It will be suggested in here, but you can change it if there's some other address. Plus, if you tag the chat, let's say it's complaint, if you tag the chat before creating the ticket and you create it after the tagging, the ticket itself will also have the tag, so you will avoid double tagging, so it will save you some time. So I can just create a ticket and it's gone. Now, about the upload files function. You can use this function to share files with your customers. It's also heavily dependent on the business, but some of you may be sending quotes or some pictures to present your products to your clients. Now, upload files can be used for any kinds of files, any format. So those can be pictures, PDF files, docs, or whatever you really need to send. Let me just give an example. I can send a lovely image of a puppy to my customer, and this will be immediately uploaded to our servers. I can access the puppy, and so can my client. So anytime you need to download it from here, it will just stay here in the chat and in the chat archive as well. So that's about upload files. Now the next blocks in here, you can see the buttons. Those are dependent on the integrations that you have with your license. Now you may be using some desk software or maybe some CRMs. And if those are set up on your license, you can do some additional actions from here, like add to Salesforce or create a ticket to desk. So those are the options that may change depending on the license of yours. Now, one more thing I wanted to mention about the Salesforce in here. We have recently introduced an integration with Salesforce 2.0, which works a slightly different way. Let me just show you how it works. Once you complete the integration with Salesforce, you will be able to see the cloud in here. So if you know that your company is using Salesforce, so you can see the buttons add to Salesforce in here, but you're not seeing the cloud. This means that you're still on the old integration, and you might let your admins know that the new integration is here, and they can update your license. Now you can select any person from the chats or visitors tab and add them as new lead or contact to Salesforce. Just write whatever details you need to include and add a new contact. Now, once you do this, you will be able to see the details on the right hand side, so you can see more info about your customers. You can edit the details if anything changes. Plus, you can save the transcripts of the conversation that you're having right now and just add it to the contact inside Salesforce. So this is really nicely done integration, and if you got more questions about them, we'll be happy to answer as well. And one more feature under More button, that's the banhammer of death, so to say. This is the final weapon against the trolls and the bad customers that you might experience, because as we are working on the internet, it sometimes happens. So if your customer is behaving really bad, and you know that they will not really do anything productive with you, and they are offensive, you can use this function to prevent the chat window from appearing to them for a number of days. Plus, if somebody is trolling you and you know that they are basically trolling, this also comes in handy. Now, when you click on this button, you can choose the number of days for which you're going to issue the ban. So I can ban Ryan for 3 days, but I can do it for 30 and 300 if he is really a bad one. So you can choose this number in here. Now, this feature is also available in mobile applications, but it is defaulted to 3 days. So when you ban from mobile application, the ban will always apply for 3 days. Now, when I ban the visitor, the chat immediately ends for Ryan, and he won't be able to start a chat with me again. So that's really convenient, but as I mentioned, is a final weapon and should not be overused. If you give somebody a ban by accident, which sometimes can happen, do not worry, because your admins on your license will be able to remove that ban from the specific section in the settings. Yes. And now the last things I wanted to mention for today are the improvements to the canned responses that we have we have recently introduced. Now, till now, if you wanted to add a canned response, you had to go to the canned response section, write whatever the canned response was, and add shortcuts to it, add it here. Now you can do it straight away from the chat window. Now, probably most of you know what I mean when I would say that you are in the middle of the chat and you just find yourself with this idea that you're using particular phrase a lot, and it would be handy to have it available as a shortcut. So let's say, please wait a moment in this case. Now I can just see that this place wait a moment. This could save me some time if I had it as a canned response. And if you got this response inside the chat, you can see this small icon in here, save as canned response. If you click on it, it will immediately give you the option to save it as canned response, so you do not have to copy the whole text, move to settings and add it there. Just add shortcuts in here like second or moment, separate them with comma and space. Now, once I save it, I will have the option to invoke this very phrase anytime I need. And there's also this small notification saying that, hey, your canned response has been added. So whether I write moment or second, this will be available for me and in a convenient way. Now, those would be basically the tips I wanted to share for today about the daily use of LiveChat. And right now, I believe there will be a moment for Q&A session. So, Daniel, take it away.
Okay, guys. Thanks, Martin. Okay, so let's move on to the Q&A session. We have quite a few questions today. So, okay, so let's begin. First one comes from Mike. He wants to know if he needs to pay for the mobile apps. No, Mike, our apps are absolutely for free. You can download them from Google Play and App Store. And for those of you who prefer using BlackBerry, sorry, there's no application available currently for you. Okay. Patrick asks if there's any option to turn LiveChat off after X minutes of inactivity. Yes, and I believe Martin already showed you that, but you can just basically you need to access your application's preferences. Note that this particular feature is available only for the desktop app users. So access your application's preferences and set any time you want, basically. So this feature, what you guys need to know is that this feature basically it works like a screensaver. So if you don't move your mouse, touch anything, then well, your status will be automatically changed to don't accept chats. Okay. Jackie asks us, how can I check the exact date hour of when a ticket was created? Let me just, it will be much better if I show you this. Basically, what you need to do is go to the ticket section, choose, let's choose any particular ticket. Then what you need to do is you need to move your mouse over the date, and here it is. Voila. Okay. Now another one comes from Tommy. How do I change the time limit before a chat is transferred to another operator due to inactivity on the agent's side? Okay, so
now actually about this one, this can be only changed by the admins on your license, so as an agent you cannot change this number, but this option will be available under settings, under chat settings and inactivity settings, so your admins will be able to change it for you, and those settings are global for the whole license.
Exactly. Okay. Diane wants to know, is there any way to sort the order in which the stop chat, transfer chat, and so on buttons appear? Diane, unfortunately, there's no such option available. Okay. Frank asked us if is there any limit to the number of files that can be transferred via LiveChat? Nope, there's no such limit. You can transfer any number of files via the chat window. Just keep in mind that each one of them needs to be less than 10 megabytes.
Now the next question is from Daniel actually, and it goes, can I turn off the file sharing for customers? Now the admin on your license is able to do it under the settings section, so you can enable it for both the agents and customers on your page.
Okay, Susie wants to know if we set up multiple groups, can we also set up separate canned messages for them? Yeah, there's such option. In fact, the canned responses, canned messages vary per group, so agents added to certain groups are able to use canned responses that are associated with those particular groups only.
Now the next question comes from Martha, and she asks if after the chat ends it seems that the ban button goes away, and can you only ban the visitors during the conversation? Now you cannot, once the chat ends, you cannot really ban in here, but an admin will be able to go to the banned visitors lists inside the application and add the ban manually. Plus you can find the IP for the chats both in here while the chat lasts and in the archives, so you can make sure that an admin on your license will be able to add these, so not only during the chat.
Okay. Next one comes from Ryan. What happens after you block someone via the ban button? Okay, so in fact, three things will happen. First of all, an ongoing conversation will be done, so that's obvious. Next thing to remember is that well, this particular visitor, this troll, will be removed from the visitors list, and also the chat button will be hidden for him or her.
Okay, so the next question comes from Jeffrey, and the question goes like, can you control the number of chats you're managing at once? Yes, this limit is set per agent, per each of the agents separately. But as an agent, you cannot change it. Admin on your license will be able to change it. This option will be available under the Edit Agents section. So you can set it to whatever number you need, between 1 and 99. But it's difficult to keep in mind the fact that if you set this number to be too high, you may find yourself in a situation where the customers simply wait too much for the answer. So just try not to set the limit too high. Okay, now the question from Georgios, I hope I did not misspell it, is hi, I joined late and missed how to tag a chat like complaint. It's a simple thing. You can do it on the bottom of the ongoing chat in here, and the tags that are on your license you can add more of them. So these are only the exemplary ones. Simply add the tag in here. This really helps to sort the cases for the future.
Okay, Silas asked us, can the working hours be configured by the admin for the users? Correct. That's basically, well, basically you answered this question by yourself. What you need to do is just go to the agent section, choose a particular agent from the list, click on the edit button, and that's the place where you can configure the working hours.
Yeah, now the next question comes from Edgar, if I can see correctly. Is there any way to string the ticket from LiveChat with our own ticket system? Now, we have this option available, and an admin can do it actually. I do not have the settings right away in here, but you can forward them to an email address of yours, so it will basically skip our ticketing system, and the messages will move straight away to a system of yours. So yes, that's possible.
Okay. Ellie asks, well, this is quite a long question, but basically Ellie wants to know if there's any way to connect LiveChat to Google Analytics. Long story short, yeah, there's such option. You can connect LiveChat, you can integrate LiveChat with your Google Analytics. There are two ways, in fact. You can either use our script that needs to be copied and passed into your website script, or you can either use the integration with Google Tag Manager. So it's up to you.
All right, now the next question I can see is add to Salesforce option. Is that available with all license if you're using Salesforce? So yes, correct. This can be added on any license that you have. And if you still have the old integration, if you go to our integration page, which is livechatinc.com/integrations, you can see that the new Salesforce integration is featured in there, so you won't have any troubles finding it. So yes, you can do this on all the plans.
Okay. Erin wants to know, if you add a account response in a chat, is it available to all agents? Yep, it is available to all agents, Erin.
All right, next question comes from Jenny, and it's, how do we configure the chat window if we offer the chat with someone in Spanish? Again, from the agent's point of view, you cannot do this as an admin. You can actually move to the settings section, go to language section, and in there you can choose a preset language set. We support over 37 languages, if I recall correctly. Plus, from regular pricing plan and up, you can change the messages, the responses that are in there, to any custom phrase of yours. So you can change this under settings, language.
Okay, Cody wants to know if there's a way to make more groups. Yeah, Cody. Basically, there's also no such thing as a limit to the number of groups. You can create as many of them as needed. So So go ahead and make use of them.
Oh yeah, now the next question I see is quite a tricky one. What happens to tagged chats? Basically, they are not affected in any particular way, but for the future reference, if you need to get some statistics or reports, or you just need to find all the tags tagged as a specific tag, you can just solve them in the archives. So it's basically just to make some nice clear order on your license so you can have better understanding of what cases you're dealing with most often. So that's what happens to tagged chats.
Okay. So Jeffrey asked us, well, will a recorded version of this session be sent afterwards? Yeah, guys, keep in mind that we always send you a link to each webinar that's available. I'll do my best to upload today's webinar on our website in 24 hours, I guess, and you should get a link to this page in 4 days. I guess it should be available in 4 days.
Yeah, all right. Let me just get to the next question. Now, when you add this question by Rocio, again, sorry for any misspells if there are some. When you add canned response on your terminal, would this addition be also available for other agents or just yourself? Now, the canned responses are set either globally per whole license or per a specific group. So if you add the canned responses from the level of chat, those are added to the group the chat takes place in. If you add them in here, you can basically choose for what group you're saving the canned responses, and then they will be only available to the members of the group. So they will be available to more people than just yourself. All right, so next question, right? Another question by Cody is, where do you make the groups? If you are on team pricing plan, the groups are available under Agents and Groups tab in here. Now again, admins will be able to add more groups in here, plus they will be able to control which agent is assigned to which group, either from Groups tab or from Agents tab.
Okay, a question from Thomas. Can we create a front-end message before they enter chat? Example, there are connection issues with our checkout card. It'd be nice to be able to have a front-end message they see before they sit in the queue and wait. Long story short, yes, there's such option. You can either customize the message that's displayed in the queued form. You can edit the message that's displayed in the survey, and also you can customize the wording that appears when you send your first message. So there's such option. You can fully customize the wording that's displayed in the chat form, the pre-chat form, and queued form.
Okay, now the next question I can see in here is a report by Eli that your desktop application crashes and gets frozen on your computers. Now, this is a rather advanced thing to troubleshoot, so I suggest, Eli, if you could just drop by the chat at our website right now. Our support team is available, and one of our agents will be able to help with it straight away. Okay, now next question goes from Erin, and now Erin asks if there's any autocorrect function available for LiveChat. As I mentioned during the webinar before, this is available in case of desktop applications. This is inbuilt for English, and if you're using web browser, the spell checker settings will be inherited from your browser settings, whatever language you're using.
Okay, next one comes from Christina. Could you confirm the way an agent can email a copy of a chat to a customer? Well, this is rather a simple thingy. What you need to do is, you need to access the archive section, choose a chat, and click on the send to email button. This one. Next, type in your customer's email address. So basically, use this one. Enter here. Click on the send to email button, and that's all. Simple as that.
Yep. One more thing about this is that the fact that in most of the setups for LiveChat, by default you also have a small envelope icon in your chat window, so the clients are able actually to send the transcripts to themselves just by clicking on it. So that's also convenient, and you can also let your customers know about this function. Now, the next question comes from Jeffrey. If you're adding a comment to an unresolved ticket for you to refer back and you save, it highlights blue for you to refer back to. When you hit submit, does it get sent to the client? Not really. The submit button in this case goes for both internal comments and for regular messages to the clients, but if you're in an internal comment mode, everything will turn to blue. So you just can make sure that this comment will not be sent to your client by accident, for instance. So just always try to see what color this window is in to differentiate between these options.
Okay, Chris wants to know whether there are any future integrations coming with programs like Simple View or others. Well, there's this list available, but this is rather an integral list. But you know what, Chris? I'll pass on your request to our support team, to our integration guy, who's in charge of creating creating integrations. So yeah, I'll let him know about this integration with Simple View. So thanks for letting us know. Thanks for your feedback.
Okay, let me just next to the next question. And now the question is by Eli. Lastly, how do you determine the best settings for long users should be on site before chat pop-ups, most effective greetings? Yes, so now this thing is tricky because it's really heavily dependent on the business of yours. So there is no like golden rule for the greetings, how long they should last on the page. From our experience, for most cases, 15 or 20 seconds, they really do the job, but as I mentioned, it's really heavy business dependent, because in some businesses this greeting should be displayed like really late, or in some other businesses it should be really displayed rather fast, just to catch the customer. So there's no simple answer to that question, I'm afraid.
Okay, so it seems that that was the last question from guys. Once again, thanks for joining us today. A huge thank you for all of you. And
one more thing I actually wanted to bring to your attention again is that after this webinar ends, there will be a survey displayed in the application, as well as sent to your emails. Now, if you could just let us know what ideas you have for the upcoming webinars, what would you like to see, or maybe see something again, just let us know in there, and we'll basically take care and take it into consideration so the future webinars are best suited to help you. So right now I believe it will be everything for today.
Correct. We'll provide you guys with, we'll give you 5 minutes to provide us with your ideas, and that's basically all from us. Thanks once again, and take care.
Bye guys.